Hey, movies! Yay! What's up, it's a Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review on the new Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, or in other words, Mission Impossible 7. The new Mission Impossible movie, the seventh one in the installment, directed and written by Christopher McQuarrie. This is originally a TV show, and then it is adapted into a movie franchise thanks to Brian De Palma, with Tom Cruise playing Ethan Hunt. The second movie is done by legendary Hong Kong director John Woo, also notoriously the worst one in the series, and then the third one is directed by J.J. Abrams. The fourth one is directed by Brad Bird. Also, my favorite Mission Impossible movie is the fourth one. Every single scene, every single act is just amazing. One of my favorite action movies ever. The fifth one and onwards are directed by Christopher McQuarrie. And now we're on to the seventh. Honestly, when I found out that Mission Impossible is making another movie and it's a two-parter, I clicked out. I just was not interested because it's a big franchise, it's a big IP, and they're just milking it for the money at this point. I really don't think they can make another movie again and again and again. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Fallout, which is the sixth one. I enjoyed Rogue Nation, which is the fifth one. I think they're all really good, but how long can they keep up the good storytelling, huh? How long can they keep it up? And so this movie got released, and a lot of people were saying that they love this movie and it's amazing. So you know what? Maybe it's actually really good. I watched it, and yeah, I'm sorry, but this movie is not as good as 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, it's not. Essentially, Mission Impossible 7, aka Dead Reckoning Part 1, is where Ethan Hunt and the gang, including Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, also Rebecca Ferguson appears again. Also, side characters like Vanessa Kirby and the new character played by Hayley Atwell team up, or Vanessa Kirby's just in the side, like she's not really doing anything in the side. They team up to fight against the evil entity, which is a huge evil AI that can destroy the world. That's all we know. And that's basically it. This movie is 2 hours and 48 minutes long, and every single set piece, every single sequence is really long. It still has a 3-act structure, but every act is like at least 30 something, 40 minutes long. So first off, I want to say that this movie has sort of lost its charm on me. I miss when Mission Impossible is all about the mind games and the cool tech. It's all about outsmarting each other. That's part of the charm, especially in Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3. Even though 2 is a terrible Mission Impossible movie, but still, it's all about the cool tech. It's all about the outsmarting. All the fighting, cool action stuff are all the side dishes. The charm of Mission Impossible is that it is all about the thinking. But in this movie, it's not there. Instead, we just have more car chases, more explosions, and more hand-to-hand combats. There's one scene in this new movie that sort of has that charm, and it is the airport scene. Also, my favorite scene in the movie. That is the only scene in the entire movie where the team, including Tom Cruise, uses mind games to trick people, to throw people off. And then there's a bomb at the airport, and that scene was really funny, but also really nerve-wracking. That is the only scene that really impressed me in the entire movie. But overall, the movie instead tries to go for something super epic and cinematic. And yeah, maybe in some ways it sounds really good on paper. Finally, a Mission Impossible movie that is big, grand, epic, and super emotional. But I feel like something like this has been done in many other franchises already, like Marvel, DC, James Bond, even freaking Fast and Furious is doing this now. And it's just not special. I'm sorry. Another thing is that the villain is not that memorable or scary. The villain this time is Gabriel, and he is essentially the biggest douchebag ever. He looks like he looks like friggin' Captain Colonel Colonel Chicken with the white facial hair and everything, and he is just evil. He's just ha ha ha, I'm so evil. Look at my facial hair. I'm so evil. And that's pretty much what he does. It's nowhere near as memorable as I don't know, Philip Seymour Hoffman or even the other antagonists. But Philip Seymour Hoffman is the best Mission Impossible antagonist. But just not very memorable. I guess he's not really the big ultimate bad guy. The big ultimate bad guy is the AI, but he sort of represents that. Maybe the next Mission Impossible movie will introduce an even bigger, badder villain that is even more memorable. That would be really fun. Maybe it would be a plot twist. But for now, in Mission Impossible 7, the villain is not that memorable nor that scary, unfortunately. Also, during the Venice chase scene where Tom Cruise and a bunch of people are chasing around in Venice, there's a scene where his earpiece gets hacked and we have an AI pretending to be Simon Pegg giving Tom Cruise misleading directions, which is really cool. But in the climax of the movie, when Tom Cruise was chasing in the Alps on a motorcycle, we have the same situation where Simon Pegg is trying to communicate with Tom Cruise, but in that scene, nothing happens, which is really weird. Like, if I was Tom Cruise, if I was Ethan Hunt in that scene, I would probably ask Simon Pegg a security question, like, coffee with milk or not? Yes, like something like that, just to make sure it's actually Simon Pegg and not an AI, especially in this day and age when all these websites would ask you if you're a robot or not. You would think Ethan Hunt would be smarter than that, but no. And there's also a particular death scene halfway through the movie that is kind of sad, but it could have been way sadder. And I also feel like that death scene only happened to make space for another character, which I thought was a pretty lame plot device. So yeah, not a very great movie, but there are still plenty of highlights. However, the Fiat chase scene in Rome is really funny, even though it is a clunky action sequence, but there are a lot of funny moments. I enjoyed it. The final climax of the scene where the train carts are falling one by one by one is really nerve-wracking. If it only falls once and Ethan Hunt escapes it, okay, that's pretty cool. But it keeps happening like 4 times. It was a very long scene, and each train cart falling gets sketchier and sketchier, especially at the end, which involves a falling piano that was really nerve-wracking. I know he's gonna survive because he's freaking Tom Cruise, but damn, was that nerve-wracking. Also, I really like Pom Klementieff as the villain or the anti-hero in this movie. I think she's badass in this movie. I don't know why nobody has written a character like that for Pom Klementieff before, but it worked really well. And overall, it is a pretty enjoyable movie. It is a fun watch, but it's definitely nowhere near as fun and engaging as the original, not as the original, but also 4, 5, 6 Mission Impossibles. Even the opening title sequence just doesn't have the charm. In this movie, it's just epic and cinematic, but originally, you're supposed to see a fire burning in a string, and you're supposed to see scenes in the movie, and it's spoiling a little bit, but that gets you excited and hyped, but that doesn't really happen in this movie, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm giving the new Mission Impossible 7 a 7 out of 10. Decent 7. So if you watched Mission Impossible 7, comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching.